Hello, another car chronicles from Brandon from Be Loves a Love. So last time I was talking to you about the Akatar book, A Court of Thorn and Roses. And I was talking about how it took me forever and a day. It was taking me forever and a day to finish the book. Well, I finally finished it. And it was as frustrating as I expected it to be. As I think I mentioned it. No, I didn't mention it. I wrote it down in my review. So at the latter part of the book, there's this riddle that if she had solved it would, in essence, release this particular court. It's part of the book. And release them out of the bondage that they were in. She couldn't figure it out. As soon as I read it, or it was explained, I knew the answer immediately. But of course, it has to be drawn out for the purposes of the book. But I didn't care for it. And then at the end of the book, there is a sample of the next book, which I always think is nice because it kind of entices you to continue on with reading the next one. So I read it. I'm like, okay, well, this is an interesting place to start, but I'm with it. And then I talked to my daughter who had finished the book like a whole week before I had done. She wasn't as annoyed as I was, but I was talking to her. She's like, Mom, that's not even the first chapter. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, that's like the third chapter. She's like, I did the same thing. I read the sample thinking that's how the book was going to start. And she's like, nope, that is chapter 3. And the first 2 chapters are some nonsense. So they're going to make you frustrated. And she's like, probably at the time that we spoke, she was 200 pages into the second book. She's probably now closer to 400 pages in. She said this one is about 600 pages. And she says that it gets better, but you just have to make it through the shenanigans and nonsense at the beginning. And I don't know if I have it in me. And the reason for that is my TBR, to be read list is embarrassing long. It is, and I'm not alone in this, I keep buying books. So I know I have books that are already downloaded that I've purchased that I haven't read. But then I'll go scrolling through. So I have 2 different lists. So I have the list that are already in my Kindle that I just need to download when I'm ready to read it. Or that I've already downloaded and just haven't read. And then I have a list on Amazon of books that I want to buy. Maybe they're too expensive right now, or maybe usually it's money. Usually I'm like, well, I don't want to spend $15 on this book when I'm not 100% sure I want to stick with the series. Or maybe I read the first one. I'd like to read the second one, but the second one is like $15. I'm like, I'll wait till it goes on sale. I have some books on this list, I kid you not, that are from 2019. And at this point, I'm like, I should just delete it, because if it was part of a series, I don't remember what the first book or the first books in the series were. If it wasn't part of the series, why do I still have it on here? Because, as most readers will tell you, what you read, especially romance readers, I feel, what got you into the genre is not always where you stay. Sometimes you'll bob and weave, you'll be really into fantasy at the beginning, and then you'll realize, okay, now I want to do more historical or more paranormal or more real life contemporary. I started with historicals, and then I was in this real college hockey genre that had me in a chokehold for a long time. It was more college sports. So it was football, it was hockey. There may have been a soccer, which, considering I played soccer, it could have been a soccer one, baseball, those types of things. And interesting. It wasn't basketball. Like, it wasn't any of the sports that I knew. Like, why am I reading? I don't know anything about hockey. But I was stuck in this chokehold of like college sports romances for a while. And then I got older. I'm like, I'm tired of reading about these college kids doing stupid stuff. And then I moved on to more like contemporary, where maybe it's a woman in her late 20s and her 30s, like closer to my age, so I could identify a little bit better. Now I'm all over the place. There was also a moment that was problematic where I was into the motorcycle gangs, and that was a dark period, because they're never good. The books, I'm not saying the books were fine, but when you think about what a motorcycle gang is, like, they're horrible people. And so I'm like, why am I reading these books? Anywho, all that to say, I have so many books that I can pay to read, or that I already have downloaded paid that I can read. I am not going to spend my time, and it's beginning less and less free time that I have, to read a book that I'm only partially interested in because people are telling me that it's a book that I should read. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna wait for my daughter to finish the second book, and maybe I'll go and read it. But I have a feeling I'm going to get annoyed, because I believe I may have read a spoiler about someone who dies, and I think it's really going to piss me off if it's true. And I know that this particular series, I think it's got a lot of books in it, and I don't want to get all the way to book 6 and then find out that this particular character has died, because I think I would be tempted to throw my Kindle out of the window. So, and in essence, to save my Kindle and the money that I spent on it, I think I'm just gonna read another book in my queue and just leave that book and that series alone. So, yeah, if you have any books or series that you're interested in, if you feel the same, feel free to comment. Let me know. Be Loves the Love on Instagram. I'll talk to you later. Bye.